In my dream, I was in my gallery and I was talking to somebody and I was telling them how this person who I didn't know real well, who looked like this guy who was a guy I hired to do floors down in Texas when I was rehabbing a house. But apparently this guy was a drug dealer and he was wanting me to sell his art or somehow launder money through my gallery. And I was telling somebody like how I was apprehensive and it was like all weird and I wasn't going to be doing this, and apparently the guy had killed people, and so there was like a kind of a bit of pressure because of it. And then I'm with some friends of mine and we're at my house and they're going through my ties and we're talking about wearing ties, and they're going through my ties and I'm like, yeah, I don't ever wear that one. I only wore that one once. And we're looking at them, and then my friend's like, oh yeah, so-and-so said you never wear suits. And then I showed her this picture when I was at your place, and there was a helicopter out back, and there was a suit hanging on it, which I was somehow implying that I guess I went to some event and I was at a house with a helicopter, and we used a helicopter to get there or something, because I recall the image, and I was like, oh yeah. And that the suit was like in a bag, and it was like some kind of like tuxedo or some really nice black and white setup. And then we're in like a breezeway, and there's this kind of little fence, and it's made of poles and then thick cable. And I'm there with some other people, and the guy who looked like the guy who I hired to do floors down in Texas, he's there, and one of his sons are there, and some of my other friends are there, and he slips and falls in this, on the other side of the fence, which is kind of like a rocky area that then has a little bit of water in it, and then if you go further down, there's more water, and then it kind of goes into a river. And so he did that one time, and then apparently he did it again earlier in the day. And then this time he was sitting on the fence, lost his footing and fell again and kind of like hurt himself. And we were all like, whoa. And it had happened again. I was trying not to laugh because I'm like, oh my God, 3 times in one day. And each time, he gets dirty and it's got to clean up. And then he's there and he gets up and he slips again. He slides a little further down. He gets into the next little area where there's a pool of water. And then he slips down, and I'm like, hey. And one of my friends is kind of going to check on him. I'm like, go get him. Go help him out. And then my other friend, who's somehow related to him, is just standing next to me. I'm like, dude, go down there and help him. And he was like related to him or something. And then, or it was his son. And then the guy slips further down and goes into the little river area, and it's kind of like a recreational river because I can see other people in the river and they're kind of going through, like enjoying it. And then I'm like, hey, does this guy even know how to swim? Like, go. And then his son kind of goes further down finally. I'm like, help him, man. We don't know if he can swim. And yeah, and that's it. So we're kind of just wondering, is he all right? And then somebody else is there, and I'm telling him, yeah, this is like the 3rd time it happened to him. It's kind of a bummer. And yeah, that's the dream.